team number one is led by Mervat. Mervat, would you introduce your team and get started on your evaluation?
Hello, everybody. Hello. My evaluation team is Jim Emery, evaluator number 1, Jean Michael Cam, gonna be evaluator number 2, and me, evaluator number 3, evaluating Kathryn's speech. Let your light shine. As I mentioned earlier in the beginning of the meeting, that Jim Emery will comment on the flow and delivery of the speech, and Jean Michael Cam will comment on the content of her speech, and me will lastly comment on her connection with the audience, and then we're gonna turn it to Kathryn for her to talk about her speech, and we'll take audience feedback at the very end. So are we ready to start with Jim Emery, evaluator number 1?
Thank you, Mervat. Thank you. And Kathryn, what a delightful first speech to bring to Saturday Morning Live. This was just amazing. You clearly are a polished speaker already, and so a lot of what we'll be talking about, I'm sure, is very positive. You probably know I'm a singer, and so your little candle and singing intro was terrific. I was delighted at that. It had an impact, I think, that was even bigger doing it virtually than it might have been in person, because the candle was right there in the screen, and you could sing to us. So what a great way to get our attention, which is sort of part of flow, is getting our attention initially. You then segued from that right to the message, which was that each of us has a light to let shine. So that the flow from that little singing intro to the basic message of your speech was also excellent. You moved then. You said you were going to share 5 items with us. You moved into sharing with us your strengths, and I believe you said there were 5. So that segue to me also helped in that it allowed you to share something personal with us before outlining maybe some of the more abstract things that we could use in our own lives. So leveraging your strengths into the story early, I think, made the flow really good. From there, you segued into a set of values, 5 values, positive emotions and purpose and meaning and so on, which flowed pretty naturally for me out of you sharing your strengths with us to, now here are some general values that you, the audience, can use to help your strengths shine. And then finally, a segue from that into 3 additional assets, mindfulness, intention, and living in the moment, which you then leveraged back to say, and these will help you bring your values into your message. So then the segue from that to the summary, you basically went back on a bookend to say, so you can see that each of us does have a little light to shine, and you gave us a call to action that bookended, as they say, the beginning. The only thing that I might suggest you look at was, I got confused when you were talking there were 5 things, 5 values, and 5 of your strengths. In a couple cases, I didn't get 5. I got maybe 3. So it might have been a little easier to make sure we got all of those. But all in all, you inspired me. My light is now shining, and thank you for sharing that speech with us. Next.
Evaluator number 2, Jean Michael Cam.
Am I on? Okay. Kathryn, I loved your speech. I love the song, This Little Light of Mine. I use that in my children's ministry with puppets, and we have flashlights and everything. So when you started singing that song, it really just blessed my heart. It warmed up my heart as you were singing. And I'm going to talk about the content of your message. And you first talked about courage and altruism and your strengths. So you talked to us about your strengths. And I agree with Jim. I only heard 3 values that you spoke about instead of 5. But I thought your transitions were good, how they flowed. You started out with the song, an introduction, and then you went into your strengths, and then you were going to share 5 values that we can input in our lives. And I thought of the 5 senses, and I see how you have a compassionate and a caring heart. And I felt it in my heart. I felt that love and that compassion and kindness that you wanted to share to all of us. And then I felt how you touched each and every one of our hearts with the message that you gave to us in these uncertain times. There are many people that I see that are fearful, and I heard encouraging, meaningful message to reach out to others within the community. And I have seen that in the world today. So many people just need love. And I know with the ministry, I took care packages to a lot of the kids and families and gift cards, and it was just so encouraging for me, and it blessed me to see the smile on their faces. I'm going to give you a little bit of improvements. So I felt like when you were giving us the values, you could have maybe paused a little bit when you were speaking and give us some examples about your life. So like, what did you do, and what have you gone through? Positive emotions, purpose and meaning, and your strengths. You could give just a little bit more examples from your life at that time. But otherwise, I loved your speech. It was so encouraging, and it was so uplifting, and it was a light. We have so many gifts. All of us have gifts in our lives that we can share with others. And you left us with something that was meaningful, and how we can look deep within our hearts and what can we contribute to others that are going through these uncertain times right now. What are the gifts God has blessed us with that we can reach out to others? So thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you, Jane. And thank you, Kathryn, for your speech. Amazing speech. I really got very connected. I truly feel like I'm very connected with you. You got my full attention, and I feel close to you, got to know you better, and I also feel that supported by you as you call to action and offered support and help at your ending statement. Amazing speech. I love the candle. Great, great, great idea. I love it so very much. And as regard the body gesture and connection to the audience, I understand it's hard to do it well virtually in camera. I would have some suggestion to that. I suggested that you look at the camera, just sit straight like you were, and make your eye contact to the camera. And instead, that will do it in virtual setting. One more thing, as regard the 5 items like you mentioned, you mentioned um, 5 items, and you did the gesture. You raised your hand at 5. One thing to take the speech to the next level when you do it again, use your hands. A good way to use your hand purposely to just count for us the 5 items and emphasizing each of them. Item number 1, and you just show your both hand, keep you on track, and gives the audience a message that how important, and keep them focused. And you're now in item number 1, item number 2, item number 3, item number 4, and 3 additional assets. And asset number 1, asset number 2, asset number 3. One more thing I suggest when you said stop and pause. And if I'm you, I would suggest that when you say stop and pause, you actually stop and pause. I was very connected and very focused. I don't want to miss any word of your speech. However, at the very end, probably because of the time's sake, I felt like you went a little bit too fast. Maybe you wanted to keep to for the time purpose. Um, however, to take the speech to the next level, emphasizing in each item and take your time, take a breath and make that stop. So to get more of our attention and emphasizing the message. One last thing, the call for action, your ending message is very important. Uh, so to take this to the next level, I truly suggest that you end it in a very more stronger, powerful voice, just with more exciting and more when you do I'm here for your support, and I feel you may put your hand in your heart, and you may, when you're inviting the audience to don't hesitate to call you for support. You just invite them with a hand gesture. um, just I think this may leave your audience with more feeling of connected and more feeling of support, and give them like, come to me, I'm here for you, supporting you. I mean, other than that, it was amazing speech. I feel very much connected to you, and I feel your support, and overall amazing, amazing, amazing speech. Thank you for letting your light shine. Thank you. Now I will turn it to you, Kathryn, for your feedback. Kathryn?
Thank you. Thank you all three. I find this to be extremely helpful. Jim, you were showing the light and talk light, but that was really, it's going to take a lot of practice, I can tell. So thank you for that. Mervet, thank you for all comments. I particularly appreciate how to use the hand gestures, and I will hope that to share with you that when I started and gave this speech, I think what I'm going to need help with at moving forward is how do I take so that I'm feeling. You were right. Had I put in examples, it would have been a 15-minute speech. I also had somebody send me a gave it for me to understand, which makes me think that perhaps still I'm talking at too high a level and I'm not giving enough comments and I'm not slowing to help people really get a message behind all of it. So I think that I joined this so that I could improve my speaking skills and stretch it so that I have a presentation I want to give, or an 8-minute or a 10-minute, that I can make a very, very distinct delivery of on a message that will be in that time frame and will include all of the various things that we want to include in a good presentation and speech. So I thank all of you, and if you have additional comments on those things, I'm very receptive.
Thank you very much, Kathryn. Now I will turn it for the audience feedback. Any of our audience want to give a feedback to Kathryn's speech today?
This is Carolyn. I'll jump in. Just a real quick note. Kathryn, thank you so much for this being your first speech at SML. It was just so, so great. And it was really just a message of love. And I think that everyone who heard the speech really just felt that come through every part of your speech and your being and your demeanor. I just think everyone felt your message of love, and I think it was fantastic. So thanks for bringing that to us today.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Looks like Jim raised his hand. No, no. Okay.
I do have one. One thing that I noticed, and I've seen this in a lot of the speech contests when you're doing these virtual meetings, the sound sometimes comes in and out, and we saw this a lot for you, Kathryn, and I'm wondering if you're potentially using the computer audio. Some people's computers are really good, but a lot of people's computers, either the computer is just not as high a quality of picking up the sound, or the bandwidth has issues when we have all of the videos come up. So if you are dialing in through the computer, consider dialing in through the phone, because that's going to have a much better connection and it's not tied to the bandwidth of your internet. And then if you are having signal issues, sometimes it's just moving the phone.
Thank you. Yeah, I had troubles when Jim and I were talking yesterday, and they increased my bandwidth and told me to use my Ethernet cord, but I still am cutting out.
Yeah, the phone helps a lot with that. And I think Steve and a couple others had messaged me already during the meeting, and they switched to phone, and they said it worked a lot better for them.
Thank you.
Right. Any other comments? Where Ed Green? All right. So team one, are you complete then, Marvette?
Thank you, Kathryn, for your speech. We really feel very loved and very connected to you, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to give that evaluation, and thank you for your comment, and we looked forward to hear that speech again and take it to the next level to make a difference or our life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marvette.